Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to today's daily quiz session. Before we begin with today's questions, an important announcement. This Saturday on the 1st of April at 6 p.m. I will be taking a live workshop exclusively on the BYJU'S Exam Prep app. This is a workshop specifically for those who are planning to appear for the 2024 attempt. In this workshop, I will be discussing 7-step approach in order to ace the 2024 attempt. Don't forget to join this. This will be live on the BYJU'S Exam Prep app. Do download the app if you have not downloaded it till now. This is the free of cost workshop. You can register by using the link given in the description of the video. Let's begin now. Question number 1. Consider the following statements with regards to Higher Education Funding Agency. Number 1. It is a joint venture between State Bank of India and Ministry of Human Resource Development. Second, all the centrally funded higher education institutions will be eligible to join as members of HEFA. Third, for joining as members, the education institutions must agree to escrow a specific amount from their internal accruals for a period of 10 years to the HEFA. How many of these given statements is incorrect? Now, this is an interesting question. The Higher Education Funding Agency is an agency formed in order to help higher education institutions with their infrastructure and other requirements. First statement is wrong. This is actually a joint venture, not between SBI and Ministry of Human Resource Development. This is actually the Canara Bank that is involved in this venture. Now you know the HRD ministry is called the Ministry of Education. But the reason why this statement is wrong is because of the Canara Bank's involvement and not the State Bank of India. Second and third are correct. The correct answer here would be A. One statement is wrong because second and third statements are true. All centrally funded higher education institutions will be eligible to become members. And for joining as members, the institutions must agree to escrow. Escrow means putting an amount of money in a specific neutral bank account. This escrow has to be made for at least a 10-year period. The reason why we are discussing this question is because of this article in the Indian Express, as per which a parliamentary panel has asked the Ministry of Education to make more efforts for speedy disbursal of the loan sanctioned by Higher Education Financing Agency, which was set up by the centre in 2017. This was a question asked in the Supreme Court. I also wanted to give you certain data about how much money exactly has been disbursed in the past few years. As you can see, in the last few years, the speed of disbursal of money has reduced. It was at its highest level for 2018 to 2020, but this speed has to be increased yet again. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to FCRA, that is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Number 1. FCRA was enacted during the emergency in 1976 amid apprehensions that foreign powers were interfering in India's affairs by pumping money into the country through independent organizations. Second, FCRA requires every person or NGO seeking to receive foreign donations in their State Bank of India only. Third, FCRA registration is valid for 3 years and NGOs are expected to apply for renewal within 6 months of the date of expiry of registration. Which of these given statements is correct about FCRA? Now, while the first and the second statements are true, if you have to receive funds in order for your NGO to work, you can only receive them in your State Bank of India account. You have to mandatorily open a State Bank of India account in the New Delhi branch. Only in that bank account the funds can be received. Third statement is wrong because once the Home Affairs Ministry gives you the FCRA license, it is valid for a period of 5 years and not 3. Once the 5-year period is over, within 6 months you should apply for the registration once again. This is a way for the government to keep a check on the NGOs. The correct answer thus is C. 1 and 2 are correct. The reason why we are discussing this is because Home Ministry has renewed the FCRA registration of Tirupati Trust with a retrospective effect. So do remember, this can be done through a retrospective effect as well. Next, question number 3. Consider the following statements with regards to Competition Commission of India. Number 1. It is a statutory body of the Government of India responsible for enforcing the Competition Act of 2002 and it was duly constituted in March 2009. Second, the commission consists of 1 chairperson and 6 members who shall be appointed by the central government. Third, the government replaced the Competition Appellate Tribunal with the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal in 2017. How many of these given statements are wrong? None of these actually is wrong. The correct answer in this case would be D. The NCLAT now acts as a tribunal for any decision given by the Competition Commission of India. This role was earlier performed by the Competition Appellate Tribunal. First and the second statements are also correct. The commissioner is a chairperson and maximum of 6 members are appointed by the central government. The reason why this is in the news is Google had appealed in the NCLAT, that is the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, after Google had been imposed a penalty of 1,338 crore by the Competition Commission of India. The tribunal has held that Google's practices are actually an indication of abuse of dominance, the position that it controls in the search market. That is why the NCLAT has upheld the penalty imposed on Google by the Competition Commission of India. The order of NCLAT talks about how Google abused its market dominance in Android ecosystem. It said that pre-installation of entire Google mobile suite is actually an unfair condition on a lot of mobile phone manufacturers, and this is how Google is misusing its position. Next, question number 4. Integrated Management of Public Distribution System is a scheme launched by which of the following ministries? Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Ministry of Cooperation, or none of the above. The correct answer here is B. This is a scheme, a platform which is run by Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. This is mainly a platform which is used to keep a track of the food security program that the government of India runs. As you know, the National Food Security Act of 2013, which governs the country's food security program, is run on the basis of this system. The central government has now started moving towards a scheme for modernization and reforms through technology in the PDS scheme. This integrated system that we see here has a lot of objectives, including ensuring that we have one nation, one ration card, that we should have a national level repository of all the ration cards, create data so that the government's subsidies in the area of food are well targeted. Next is the previous year question from 2017. Which of the following are not necessarily the consequences of proclamation of president's rule in a state? Remember, not necessarily the consequence. Number 1, dissolution of the state legislative assembly. It may happen and it may not happen as well, because the state assembly may be dissolved or may be in suspended animation as well. So yes, this is not necessarily a consequence. Second, removal of Council of Ministers. Yes, removal of Council of Ministers will happen in any case whatsoever. So this is a necessary consequence. Then dissolution of local bodies. No, it does not have any impact on the local bodies. So first and third are not necessarily the consequences. So the correct answer here would be B. Although this is an easy question to answer, but the language of the question might make it slightly difficult. So for these kind of questions, especially related to polity, it is advisable to read these questions very, very carefully before you answer these. Next, we have a fact of the day, and today we want to discuss about what is happening in Myanmar. As you know, it has been over 2 years since the military rule of Myanmar has been ongoing in a neighboring state, and now the Myanmar military is trying to have an even stronger grip in the country. In that direction, they have announced dissolution of Myanmar's main political party, the NLD, National League for Democracy, led by Aung San Suu Kyi. This was a party that has been running since 1988 and has been the biggest party of Myanmar for a long, long time. Now, as you know, the military of Myanmar, called as a junta, had been saying that they will be conducting elections very, very soon, although the 2 years of their rule have already been completed. Now, there are two ways to look at this particular development. One way is that yes, it is going against democracy, but the other way to look at this is maybe military is getting ready for elections. Its biggest competition was the NLD. Now the military has dissolved the NLD officially. Maybe this is an indication that military of Myanmar may come towards election very, very soon. In fact, Junta Chief Senior General called Min Aung Hlaing has promised a free and fair elections very, very soon. However, what is worrying the army is the immense popularity of Aung San Suu Kyi and her party that led her party winning the elections in 2015 and 2020. The party won more than 4/5 of the seats in the parliament in 2020, meaning that over 80% of the seats were won by this party. And that is why the military does not want to contest elections against the NLD. As per the recent rules announced, under the Political Party Registration Law, Election Commission of Myanmar, which is controlled by the military, has said existing parties have 60 days to re-register or they will be automatically dissolved. The NLD had announced that they will not contest the election and thus they did not register, and that is why under this order they were dissolved, that within 60 days they did not re-register. Although the party still has a wide support base and the new party may be formed under the same leaders, but it remains to be seen how the democracy is returned to Myanmar, if it does return anytime soon. As per the article, the party has been searching about number of new ideas. The first election that the party had contested and won was in 1990, and it still remains the most popular party by far. However, with their leader Aung San Suu Kyi under house arrest, the party does not really know what will be the future in the coming months. This is it for today's daily quiz video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day ahead. Jai Hind.